Hello, my name is Siva and welcome to PeopleSoft channel. In the previous episode, we saw how PeopleSoft can talk to a web service provided by a third-party application. We basically leveraged the framework provided by PeopleSoft to automatically consume the web service. Then we sent a request message in SOAP-based XML format, and we received back the response in the same format with the desired data. In this episode, I will show you how PeopleSoft can expose a particular business functionality through a web service. We can also eliminate a lot of manual work by exposing certain business functionality to a third-party application. We will check that out. So without any delay, let's get started. First, let me show you the business functionality that we plan to expose as a web service. In order to do that, I will navigate to Order Management module, Customers, Contact Information. If we are a company selling some product, basically we are using this page to add contact information of our customer, like address, telephone number, etc. For the sake of this demonstration, let's assume our company is using a fancy third-party application where customer can directly key in their information in that application. Instead of we re-entering the same information again manually in PeopleSoft, we can expose this component as a web service so third-party application can use the web service to update our PeopleSoft tables after proper validation. Let's get some hands-on experience with this component. In order to do that, I'll go ahead and key in some information. I will click on add a new value. I'll click add. Let's give some name to our customer contact. Let's give some title. And let's try to save the component. It looks like phone number is mandatory. Let me navigate to contact phone and type. And I will select the phone type as business phone. Let's give some telephone number. I will save our component and we have successfully created our contact ID. Now let's expose these fields through a PeopleSoft web service so that third-party application can programmatically transfer data into PeopleSoft application through our web service. Luckily, we already have a PeopleSoft service that exposes tables related to this component. Let's go ahead and peek into that delivered PeopleSoft service. Now I'll show you delivered PeopleSoft service related to our customer contact information. People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Service Operations. The service operation name is contact_sync. Even the service name is the same. I will select contact sync. This is the PeopleSoft service I am talking about, which will update our customer contact information. Shortly, we are going to publish this PeopleSoft service as a web service so that it is available for third-party application. But before that, let's make sure if this PeopleSoft service is in working condition. At my first glance, I see that this PeopleSoft service is inactive. Let me activate it. Let's enable user ID, password security to our PeopleSoft service. With this setting, third-party application can talk to our PeopleSoft web service only if they provide user ID and password. In the next step, I'm going to create a new user profile in PeopleSoft, and then we are going to give this PeopleSoft web service access to that user. Now let's quickly see what fields are exposed through this web service. To check that, I'll click on View Message. Let me expand the level 0 record. As you can see, this is a row set based message. And you can see all the records related to customer contact information component. If you do not want to expose all the fields, you can do it from here. As you can see, these are some of the fields that are hidden from external view. Now let's navigate back to our service operation. Since we plan to expose this PeopleSoft service as a web service, make sure any two local routing exists. If not, you can click here and generate any two local routing. By doing that, basically what we are telling is this web service is going to accept any incoming request to the local node. Now let's move to handler section. Let me activate the handler code for our service operation. Let's navigate to details section. Basically, this application class contains the logic what to do with the data received from third-party application. Check it out, guys. They are using component interface to load the data into our customer contact component. I'll click OK and I will navigate to routing section. We need to make sure routing corresponding to any two local nodes should be active. It looks like currently it is inactive. Let me select it and activate the routing. And I will go ahead and save our service operation. While we are here, let's navigate to General tab. By the way, I forgot to mention this is an asynchronous one-way service operation. What that means is the sender of the message will not wait for the response from PeopleSoft once they publish the message. And PeopleSoft can take its own sweet time and process the message in the order they receive. And that's why you see a queue associated with asynchronous service operation. And if we open the queue, you can see all the list of asynchronous service operations, and any messages related to these service operations are published to one single queue customer. Integration broker will only process messages if queue is in running status. It looks like right now it is in pause status. Let's go ahead and enable it. I will change the queue status to run. I will go ahead and save our queue and return. In order to assign security to our web service, I will go ahead and create a new permission list. I will navigate to People Tools, Security, Permission List and Roles, Permission List. I will add a new value. Let me name the permission list as cust1000. Click Add and let's navigate to Web Services. Let's search for our web service, contact_sync. Click Edit. Let's give full access to our service operation. Click OK. There is one more service operation that we need to give access to. This service operation will be used by PeopleSoft integration broker to communicate with the external system. So let's give access to that specific service operation. The service name is IB utility. And I'll click Edit. And the service operation I am talking about here is get whistle. Make sure we have full access. Also, please make sure the components of this service operation are active. I'll click OK. And we need to give access to the component interface. Remember, once we receive data from third-party application, our delivered PeopleSoft service operation contact sync is using a component interface to read the data from our third-party application and load it back into PeopleSoft tables. So the component name is contact_info. I'll click Edit. Make sure I give full access to this specific component interface. Click OK and save. Let's add this permission list to a new role. I will navigate to Roles, Add a role. I will click Add button. Give some description. And let's assign the newly created permission list. I will save it. Now it's time to create a new user profile that we will use as security. I will navigate back to Security, User Profiles. And let's name this user ID as contact_service. Click Add. I will select symbolic ID and let's give a password to it. And we are going to share this password to our third-party application. That's how they can talk to our web service. Let's navigate to Roles tab and let's add our newly created role. And let's save our user profile. So let me navigate to ID and I will select None. I will go ahead and save our user profile. Before we can provide our PeopleSoft service as a web service to the external world, we have to take care of one last thing. If we did not create external node for our third-party application, PeopleSoft will use a special node called anonymous node to receive all incoming requests. We have to assign the user ID we just created to that anonymous node so that it has sufficient access to accept the incoming request. Let's go ahead and do that. To do that, I'll navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Nodes. Let's search for anonymous node. Let's assign the user ID we just created that has access to customer contact PeopleSoft service. I will go ahead and save our anonymous node. Once we have set up our PeopleSoft service properly, exposing it to the external world as a web service is a piece of cake. Let me show you how to do that. In order to do that, I will navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Web Services, Provide Web Service. This is the place where PeopleSoft generates the required WSDL for us based on our PeopleSoft service. Let's go ahead and search for our PeopleSoft service. I will click on search button and navigate to the next step. We are going to expose just contact sync, so I will select the very first service operation. Click next and finish. That's it. Now we can provide this WSDL URL to the third-party application so that they can start using this web service to transfer data into our PeopleSoft database. Once we have this WSDL, there are several ways we can use to test our PeopleSoft web service. I'm going to show you how to test this web service using SoapUI next. But before that, we can copy paste our WSDL into our browser and see if there are any configuration related errors. For me, everything looks good. We already saw in our last episode how to test WSDL in SoapUI. Let's go ahead and follow the same process. Let me copy the WSDL URL. I have already kicked off my SoapUI. Let me close this window. I will select Soap and let's name this project as Demo Web Service. Let me paste our WSDL URL here. I will click OK and it is loading our WSDL. I will expand our service operation. I will double click on request. Let me maximize the window. Soap request has automatically created a sample request message for us. All we need to do is input some sample data. In interest of time, I have filled all the required information. I have removed all optional records. I will go ahead and publish this message to our PeopleSoft database. It looks like our PeopleSoft database kicked out our request message. If you remember, we have enabled security at service operation level to ensure that the external application should provide user ID and password. Luckily, there is a way to pass username and password through SOAP request properties. I will go ahead and quickly add username and password that have access to our web service. In order to pass username and password along with the request message, all we need to do is right click and select add WSS username token. And it will throw a warning message because it is displaying password in text format. Once you select that option, you will see the details are appended to the request message. Here you can see our user ID and the password is passed along with this tag. I'll go ahead and republish the data. It looks like there are no error messages this time. If I click on raw, the request was successfully published to PeopleSoft database, and this is the transaction ID. I have opened Service Operation Monitor in PeopleSoft application. As you can see, our request message is in PeopleSoft now. The transaction ID matches and the status is done. Now it's time to check if the contact ID that we transferred was created in PeopleSoft. It looks like everything went well, and this is the contact information that we transferred using our request message. That's all I have for you today. For more interesting content, don't forget to visit my channel. I'll be back with one more interesting topic next week. If you have any suggestion for me, feel free to drop in the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. See you next week. Until then, keep learning.